Hey everybody, it's Robbie Bessner back with another episode, Healthy Hotline, sponsored by Therasage. And today we have an amazing guest. You've probably seen her on the regular episodes. This one is part of the Lyme series. And little did I know that Dr. Marisol Teijeiro, who's joining us today, she's up in Canada and she sees a lot of Lyme in her practice. And so she's here today to spare some time and shed some light and certainly give us some pearls of wisdom as to what kinds of things that you guys out there can do to just get out of bed, get charged, shift your energy, move towards a positive health experience. Dr. Marisol, thank you for joining us again today. Welcome to the Healthy Hotline.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's always such a blessing and a treasure to spend time with you and your people. And so I'm so excited to share with everyone my clinical pearls with regards to Lyme's. So I'll get started. And what I really wanted to focus on was how to prevent Herxheimer symptoms and reactions. In my patient population, when I first started seeing a lot of Lyme's disease, I noticed the reactivity that they were having to certain treatments that I would be doing. And to tell you the truth, at first, it was very, very, very scary. I felt super, super bad for my patients because I would see them basically wanting to crawl out of their skin with the tingling, with the sensations that they were having and how they were feeling in their body, almost as though they were toxic and that they'd been poisoned. It was a real struggle at first to figure out a way to adequately treat it and also prevent it. But over time, thankfully, with the awesome tools that I have in my practice, I was able to figure out a really great formula that was easy to do and that all it took was just simply practice and commitment. And that's something that all of us can do. So let me share it with you. Sound good?
Yo, let's go. I'm ready. Awesome. Step by step here.
Awesome. So we all know, or if you know or don't know, but a Herxheimer reaction can be when you start to feel more aggravated symptoms of your Lyme's. It can happen all the time. You can be constantly living in a Herxheimer reaction, or you can have like acute episodes where it basically gets worse or in little spurts of time. Many of the symptoms include, again, you can feel like you're toxic, almost like someone might have poisoned you. You know, that was a common comment that many of my patients would say. Another experience would be, tingling in the extremities or feeling like electrical shocks in different places. For many of my patients, what they would feel is that they would feel very anxious. So almost like they would have like an elephant on their chest. They'd have problems sleeping, problems going to the bathroom. So there'd be a lot of different issues that I'd be seeing around these Herxheimer reactions. And I initially would say to them, don't worry, it's going to pass. You just have to work through it. Now, saying that is one thing when you're not experiencing it, because when you experience a Herxheimer reaction, and I experienced one at one point in time, I realized that that wasn't cool for me to say anymore. It wasn't going to work for my patients because they were really, really suffering because it was a really extreme reaction. And I looked along my patients and I saw what my colleagues were doing as well too. And what I realized that there was a couple of symptoms that were similar along all of the different Herxheimer reactions that the patients were having. And the biggest things was that they were experiencing stress to an upteenth level, right? A level that was really, really extremely aggravated, right? And that was giving them all those little tingles and the sparks and the anxiety-like attacks that they were feeling. The other thing was that they were often having problems going to the bathroom, almost as though the Herxheimer reaction had either shut down their digestive tract or either over aggravated it. So then that they would be either having constipation or they'd be having extremes of diarrhea. So they'd have one of those two things. And then finally, their sleep was horrible, unable to sleep properly, staying awake because of all of these electrical shocks. This was just only further aggravating their situation. So what I ended up realizing was that, I have certain tools that I've been using for years to help the bowels move, to help sleep improve, to basically help anxiety dissipate. And I needed to implement those before the Herxheimer reaction happened. So, and then if it had happened, there was ways that I could do in my clinic that I can actually improve their ability to move through that Herxheimer reaction faster. So let's go through both of those strategies, okay? So strategy one, what is one of the best ways that you can use to actually prevent a Herxheimer reaction? My friends, this is an old ancient tool known as the Castor Oil Pack. Okay. This castor oil pack has been in existence and in use since 4000 BC. Like that's a long, long time ago. And it's been an ancient medical tool from the very first doctors, Hippocrates, the father of medicine, the very first doctor, the Greek doctor, of course, Aristotle. We've got doctors like Pliny the Elder, who were medicine people to the Roman emperors and empresses, traditional Chinese medical doctors to the emperors in China. And then, of course, Ayurvedic practitioners as well too have used these packs. So this has a history dated very, very far ago. And the fact that it's still in existence is because it works so well, right? We still use these in alternative and holistical practices. Now, why was this castor oil pack so imperative to help with prevention of Herxheimer reaction? Well, because the castor oil pack focuses its activities on those three very important areas. Number one, improving your sleep. So making sure that you go to bed, get a deep sleep. And number two, get your bowels moving. And then I'll get into why it's so imperative. And number three, reducing your stress. So then your experience of stress is much reduced. Now, why are those three factors together and in combination important? Here's the thing. When you sleep, you detoxify. The liver is the most active during the hours of 1 and 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, many Lyme sufferers are having problems falling asleep, but they're also having problems maintaining their sleep. And so if you have either of those experiences, what's happening is that typically it's because your liver is burdened and having problems being able to detoxify. Because if your liver was, flowing really greatly and doing all its awesome detoxification abilities, cleaning out hormones, clearing out extra excesses of bacteria, improving the immune system function so it can fight off bacteria and it can fight off the coexisting infections that are so predominant with Lyme's. If your liver is doing a really good job of that, well, then you, my friend, you are going to be sleeping really, really well. But if your liver is burdened, it has an inability to be able to do these activities. And then what happens is that instead of your body being able to package up those things that need to come out of the body in that beautiful bowel movement that you have when you wake up in the morning after a good night's sleep, well, instead of them being packaged, what happens is that they are let to go free in your body. So they're let to go free in your body, cause havoc, cause symptoms of stress and anxiety, and they even flow up into your brain and into your nervous system cells, causing an aggravation of those symptoms of your tingling, your sparking, your stimming, and even waking you up. Because what happens when the brain tissue gets a boost of a nervous tissue of toxicity? Well, it wakes up because it needs to figure out a way to clear that out of the body so that it can protect itself. So these castor oil packs are done in the evening for an hour at least. And even better, especially in Lyme's cases, I found it to be much more beneficial to actually go to bed and wear it all night long. Because then what would occur is in the morning, well, they first of all sleep very, very well over the evening, but then in the morning they would wake up, typically have a much better bowel movement, and that is where the body's eliminating everything out that it packaged up over the nighttime, and their experience of stress would be greatly reduced in the morning. So this very, very simple activity could help with prevention of Herxheimer by improving the sleep and also improving the stools.
All right, well, let me jump in for 1 second.
Yeah.
For those of you that just tuned in, we're talking to Dr. Marisol, and she is not only the queen of thrones, but she's one of the, I would say, at least one of the world's experts on castor oil packing techniques. She has an amazing protocol. If you look right behind her on a mannequin, you can see one of the kind of wrap or fastening garments that she created to actually soak in the castor oil and keep it on your body. And so she's talking to us about this incredible technique to open up your detox pathways. And so think about all the things that the chain of events. And by the way, as she described about a Herx reaction, most of it most Herx reaction is really a detox response or a toxic response. And so how do you get that? Well, all the organisms and the imbalance of the organisms, the bacteria, the parasites, microorganisms, the co-infections, they've got a life cycle. And as she'll describe later on in our interview, I hope, where she's going to talk about the poop about poop. Yeah. These organisms poop. Those are all toxins. If you're going to a Lyme literate doctor or you're doing anything to actually attack the source of the challenge that you have, if there's a die-off, that's also a toxin. So the whole story here is about detoxing beforehand to lower the toxic burden on your body, on your main organ for filtering and for detoxification, which is your liver. And so that when you do some proactive events that will create another toxic event, you're not going to have this kind of extreme reaction. It might be a subtle or no reaction whatsoever. So pay real attention, because she's going to tell us how easy it is to do this. And you can do it while you're sleeping. Can you imagine that? Yeah. So yeah. Dr. Marisol, I'm sorry about the interruption.
No.
Keep going. You're amazing.
That is so perfect. And actually, I love how you said that the organisms like the Lymes, the other, the Bartonella, whatever kind of coexisting infection, because there's so many. Oftentimes I'll see patients with Lymes, but also having mono, and also the list goes on and on. And that you're 100% correct. These organisms are little organisms, and they poop just like we do, right? And that poop can be toxic. But also when we're actively treating Lymes and trying to figure out and treat, mono, the coexisting infections, what's happening is our tools are very effective, but the die-off, which is where these little organisms and their bodies actually just like explode. You can imagine it like that. They explode. Well, they actually have on the outside shell of them, they have signals, or we could call it like little flags. And these flags in your gut, where the immune system is harboring, your immune system sees those little flags and goes on alert. And when it goes on alert, that's where you create an enormous immune reaction. And that immune reaction is what makes you feel just so horrible. And that is the reason why when we're actively treating Lyme's disease, you want to be consistently and constantly focusing on making sure that you have good sleep and that you have good stools. Those are absolutely imperative, because the rest, I tell you, won't matter as much, because you won't be able to get things out of the body. You won't be able to regulate the system, because you'll get stopped because you'll be feeling so horribly. Think about what happens when you feel bad. Well, you give up, right? So doing Castor Oil Packs, what these do is that they help to give you a leg up. They help to be your friend, your partner in crime during these treatments, where they're helping your body to optimize so that you can actually accept your proper treatments that are excellent, get these treatments, get effective results out of them, because you have made sure that your stools are moving out of your body and that your sleep is excellent, so that your liver, that ever important liver, can actually cleanse and detox and do all the job of helping the immune system to work its very best. So that truly is the key. And what I found too is that if in case patients say they're, doing these Castor Oil Packs every single day, these Castor Oil Packs are super simple to do. All it requires you to do is simply pour 2 tablespoons of oil on the comfortable, nice, soft, organic flannel and put it on the body. It's all you need to do. You wear it for an hour, or again, even better, as Bobby said, overnight is the ideal, right? So you wear it overnight while you sleep, so there's no hassle, no nothing. Wear it overnight, you're having those good bowel movements. But what happens if you happen to have been doing a treatment with your doctor or practitioner, and it was pretty aggressive because you're at a stage now of your disease that we can really start to move things out of your system? And what happens then if you get an aggravation again of your symptoms? So an increasing effect of Herxheimer. Well, my friends, do your pack at night, but also do it during the daytime. See, you can actually double up on it. So it's a way that if you're noticing that your symptoms have aggravated, just do more of it. And then it'll help you to, again, better process in the liver and then eliminate out of the body. So super.
I've been doing castor packing for almost 15 years. And, for all of you out there, it's messy. It can be messy. You figured it out. You created this garment that allows you to soak up the castor oil and have it on the body, but yet you can wear it we use it in our sauna. You can wear it when you're going to sleep at night, because the outer part of the garment that you're pointing to actually is sort of acts as almost an insulation. So it keeps the castor oil on the inside flowing towards your body and absorbing through your skin, and cleansing the area that you're going for, but not making your sheets messy, not making your garments messy. It's truly amazing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to comment about sleep for a minute, because you focused on sleep deprivation, but many Lyme patients, they actually sleep like 12, 14 hours, but they wake up and they're still tired, because it's not really, well, it has a little bit to do with the quantity of sleep, but it's more about the quality of sleep. Getting into that deep delta or deep REM sleep, where your brain goes into repair mode and a detox mode, like you mentioned. If you're not in that deep sleep, then you don't get all those benefits, and you wake up tired, as many of you guys, I'm sure, can appreciate. And then really what's happening is, that's another burden on your immune system, and it allows the imbalances of the overgrowth of the Lyme and the co-infections and whatever else, maybe mold too, that's going on inside of you, to sort of create havoc. It gives them advantages. So the sleep quality, the bowel movements, like everything you're talking about in such a simple application and protocol, can everyone out there can benefit from this, whether you have Lyme or not. So I love the track that you're on, Dr. Marisol. Keep going.
Thank you. And thank you for clarifying that, because it's exactly that. It's a deep restorative sleep that we're looking for, right? But do note, waking up between 1 and 3 a.m., because this is classically what I see, like with anyone with any kind of toxicity, the 1 and 3 a.m. people will note. But again, it's all about the deep sleep. Like good deep sleep and great bowel movements can do wonders for you. And then there's another aspect which I love about the Castor Oil Packs, which I'll share, which is the other side benefits. Of course, Bobby, I'm glad that you brought up that the Castor Oil Packs were messy, because this was some of the reasons why people weren't doing the packs before, and they were shying away from it, because here you are dealing with a chronic disease. You have so many things to think about, so many practitioners to go to. Your life already feels really tough, and here you're asked to do like something that takes like 12 steps to do. No one's going to want to do that. And that was the big reason why I wanted to make this a little simple, less than 2 minutes, less than 2 steps, very, very simple. Just put it on your body and go with it. And they aren't 100% impermeable, just so people know, because it is a castor oil pack and still has a little degree of messiness. But to avoid that, just wear an old t-shirt and then you're good to go. So there shouldn't be any issues with that. Another aspect that I love about the Castor Oil Packs is that it goes much further than just the sleep, the stress, and improving your stools. It also helps you with what you're taking to work better. So many Lyme patients, whenever they've come into my office for the first time, they're bringing like bags, like huge laundry bags full of their supplements that they're taking. And, we oftentimes need many of them. And this is very true, because Lyme's is a chronic disease and it's a tough disease to work with. However, the big reason why we're needing so many is because our absorbability in our gut is very much damaged because of the bacterial overload, but more so because of the yeast overload that often coincides with Lyme's disease. And that affects how we digest our food, our ability to absorb everything. So one of the extra bonuses with Castor Oil Packs is that it truly helps you to better absorb the supplements and the treatments that you're taking. So you can get better effectiveness from your antimicrobials that you may be taking that are herbal. You can get better effectiveness from the supplements that you're taking, like your minerals and your B vitamins that are so essential for the liver. I often see in Lyme's patients having problems with their liver enzymes. They might be lower, sometimes they're higher. Certain liver enzymes, when they're lower, take an example like ALP, that's alkaline phosphatase, that is often low in Lyme's patients from my experience. And what's correlated to is often things like zinc deficiencies. But zinc is required for the immune system to function properly. It's a good key that your immune system also isn't dealing with the burden very well. So things like Castor Oil Packs, when you put on that Castor Oil Pack every night, every day, you're going to be absorbing better and better your minerals. So then your liver function can work better. So, there's all these little side benefits too. And that's, I think, is super important, because I know and I understand the hundreds and thousands of dollars that you're spending on your supplements and your treatments. And I want them to work better for you, right?
Right. So, it's not only easy to use, but it's effective and it's affordable. Yeah. I mean, Not to mention many of the doctor's visits and even the medications that you might be having are using, they're coming straight out of your pocket. Right. And aren't reimbursable. I know Canada's got more of a community or a socialized healthcare system, so the government helps somewhat. But then it may take a while before you get diagnosed or you get into the system, and meanwhile you're still feeling like pretty much horrible, right? So just the idea that you can do something simple, easy to do at home, everybody can do it, it's affordable, it's effective, and it really kind of creates a primal platform for healing, which I think is what we seem to forget sometimes. Everybody calls the Lyme the enemy, but truth be told, in order for you to effectively work on coming out of the other end of the tunnel, you have to create a healthy platform, from the ground up. And using this technique really kind of turns on a lot of these important detox pathways that are so necessary to harbor generally good health. Yeah. So, today is a talk about Lyme, but really what you're offering is pearls of wisdom for everybody out there that's listening. So keep going, Marisol, you're batting 1,000.
Awesome. And then there's another aspect about protective, right? Many Lyme's patients may need to take antibiotics. This is the reality, right? We might need to take antibiotics, but we all get worried about taking the antibiotics because we're worried about what it's going to do to our microbiome, right? We know that there are side effects from that. Now, this is the other bonus. And if you just look at what's happening here, this Castor Oil Pack really becomes foundational to any Lyme's treatment protocol, because the Castor Oil Pack, not only will it help you get that deep restorative sleep, it will help you to have better bowel movements and really eliminate out, the components that need to be coming out of your body consistently so that you have a reduction of Herxheimer reaction. It's also helping you to improve your supplement or absorption, improving your liver detoxification so you can clean up a lot better. But then as another bonus is that castor oil is really beneficial for the microbiome. And when you're doing the castor oil pack topically, you're helping to prevent total destruction of a healthy microbiome. In fact, you're helping from the outside in to actually support a healthy microbiome, which can help reduce levels of candida yeast, which can help support a much better immune system reactivity and can help you in your fight against Lyme's. So it really, to me, sums up what a good foundation practice is with Lyme's. And I truly believe that every single Lyme's patient should be doing a castor oil pack, because it'll help every single thing that they're doing just work that much better. And it'll help them to get back to living at least, a better state of life than what they have right now at this moment, a little bit faster. And those small gains are huge when it comes to Lyme's treatment.
Right. Awesome. Many of us out there, even if we didn't have Lyme, just had a virus of some kind of infection. In the U.S. particularly, many of the doctors, the standard of operating procedure is just to delve out the antibiotic, right, as it might be targeted to the particular virus or bacteria or overgrowth, parasite, whatever. It does one thing if it does that effectively, if they catch that right, but it's also creating that imbalance with the beneficial bacteria. And we have more than 60,000. And the science on that, I have a dear friend, Dr. Zach Bush, who has now created a full thesis on the imbalances or regaining balance in your microbiome. Awesome. And so those bacteria are so important for us. We all live symbiotically in our environments, right? With the internal environment and our external environment to create that balance. And so when we get the imbalance, which is really why, suppresses your immune system and why is it that your internal environment might host or be a good environment for Lyme to thrive? Many of us have Epstein-Barr and cancer and pneumonia and Lyme and all that inside of us, but some of us are symptomatic and some of us aren't. And a lot of it has to do with things you talked about, emotional stresses and that come into us. So the idea that you can do something as simple as this, and you mentioned this isn't just a new invention. It's from the history of the world. Many cultures have used castor pack applications to bring them back to health and maintain optimal health. And so I just love what you're doing and the direction you're going and what you offer to everybody out there, and that's simple, complete, and is so important from a foundational point of view. And I think that if you build that platform and then you offer your body some of the nutritional deficiencies that maybe the overgrowths or the imbalance have caused, now you're creating a super healthy structure or foundational primal platform for you really to gain your strength back, but not just for the moment, really for the long term. And then you can start some aggressive sort of protocols that go after underlying sources and regaining that balance back in your internal system.
100%.
So we only have a few more minutes, and I'm sure you and I can talk for hours, and we've already experienced that. So I'm wondering, with the few minutes left, if there's a few more things that you'd like to share with us today.
The only other thing that I'd like to share is that when we're talking about those bacteria in the gut, because they are so very important, it's also about natural selection, and castor oil helps you to naturally select the ones that are going to be more beneficial to you, because many of us are taking probiotics that have a high level of lactobacillus bacteria. You'll also see some bifidobacteria. However, lactobacillus bacteria for many people can cause actually more immune dysregulation. And I've seen this often in Lyme's. So when you are doing a castor oil pack, this can help with natural selection to move towards maintaining more of a preference of the bacillus culture and the bifidobacteria, because the bifidobacteria will create things like short chain fatty acids. You may have heard of these, like butyric acid. And this butyric acid is incredible to help heal the gut lining from the inside. So what ends up happening is you have a system from the outside in, you're doing the castor oil pack that now modulates and changes that bacteria inside the gut. And now the gut is more populated with bifidobacteria that is creating more of that butyric beautiful acid, I call it, which like heals the internal gut lining. And then you have a recipe that, will make sure that you have less yeast in your system, because let's face it, the only reason why yeast comes onto your system is this. Digestion isn't only about how you digest your food, but it's how you digest your life. So when whatever you're taking inwards, that can cause an irritation in the gut, whether maybe it's a food allergy, or maybe it's a friend who's really mean, or maybe it's a mother-in-law that you don't like, or maybe it's a job that you had to quit because your boss was brutal. Whatever.
Everybody blames the mother-in-law for some reason.
Yeah,
right?
I have a great mother-in-law, so that's not like
Okay.
The thing is that, that causes inflammation and stress on the gut. And when the yeast sees that, the yeast go crazy and populate and grab on and latch on. And it's difficult to let go of them, but it is easy to let go of them when you have the right factors playing a good role, like castor oil, which is known to be an exceptionally awesome oil against candida infection because it supports something known as nitric oxide, which is a known antifungal. So it really, just to sum up all the activities in Lyme's and what you can use castor oil packs is, as a foundation. I love how you said that, Bobby, because truly I feel that this is such a big foundation to build yourself up, because you have literally been sucked dry from this bacteria. It has taken everything from you. And now, it's in my clinical practice, I start off my patients a month doing these castor oil packs and just nourishing therapy, right? Just to really just nourish their bodies and rebuild their strength so they can fight this. And, helping them to get that deep restorative sleep with the castor oil packs, helping them have those incredible bowel movements that really eliminate everything that needs to go out and helps with the shedding of the gut lining so they can create a new gut lining. And then, of course, helping them to reduce the stress they feel so that they feel better and can really be motivated to continue their therapy. It can improve how they absorb all those minerals, nutrients from their supplementation. It improves the activity of all the probiotics and all the herbal, antimicrobials that you're taking. And then again, just truly improving even antibiotic therapy. Like, it's a win-win-win-win-win in every direction when you look at castor oil packs for Lyme.
Wow. Amazing. Well, first off, we should have started with this, but I'm going to end with this. If you need to get a hold of Dr. Marisol, you can email her directly at Dr. Marisol, spelled MARISOL.com, or you can find her on Instagram, and she's got an amazing Instagram channel at Queen of the Thrones. It's a plural, thrones. So QUEENOFTHETHRONES. So you can find her there. And this was so important today, what we talked about. I just love your spin on things. You make it simple, you make it complete, and you made it really easy for all of us to understand how important restorative sleep is, how easy it is to get back on track with this, how you can integrate with your system using organic castor oil. And by the way, I muscle tested your castor oil. It's amazing. It tests so strong. Yes. Oh yeah, really. And that's not easy to find, by the way. So big kudos out there.
Thank you.
So you can catch her with all that stuff. And for all of you, there are certain ways that we can self-test. Like for instance, when you have an overgrowth or an imbalance of bacteria, your tongue gets coated. So if you just take a look in the mirror at your tongue, you can see that there's challenges you're having with your GI tract. And, this isn't a quick setup. You may have, if you got chronic Lyme, it may have taken years before you actually became symptomatic. Usually the younger you are, the stronger your immune system, so the longer it may take before you get symptomatic. And so it's sort of like climbing the toxic mountain, right?
Yep.
It's hard to fall up a mountain when you're climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
But if you did a fast protocol, as many people are looking for quick responses, it's super easy to fall down a mountain. And so what we're talking about is a fairly, methodical process. It's not an overnight process, but you will get a benefit every single time you do this, and that's what's important. And the changes that you're going to have is, from a chronic point of view, are subtle in some ways. And we like to use we keep diaries, like we keep we keep track day by day of the subtle changes. So then when you look at it as it all adds up by the end of the month, you may have lowered your pain thresholds. All that tingling may be subsiding. Food sensitivities may start to go away. Your cognitive challenges might change, like from better night's sleep, better focus. You're happier, less frequency of episodes. And when you do have an episode, it may not be as strong. That's what we're talking about today. And this is really the road to recovery. And optimal health. So Marisol, you're really a gem. I wish you were closer, and I can't wait till you move to Florida, whether it's the East Coast or West Coast, because we'll be seeing a lot more of you. In the meantime, we know how to get a hold of her at drmarisol.com or at her Instagram at Queen of Thrones channel. It's amazing. You're amazing. Thank you for joining us today. You gave us so many great insights and things we can do as soon as today and tomorrow. So stay tuned. Thanks again for joining us on the Healthy Hotline. Hey everybody, it's Robbie Bessner. Thanks so much for joining us today. Please share this content with anyone that you think might benefit from it, and we're looking forward to having you with us tomorrow for another great interview.